And then as far as the clock is concerned, like some teams will pick it into the Rubik and other teams won't. It just makes your engagement so much harder, right? So I'm not actually sure if they would be considering that. And they have some possible anti-synergy with the Pango clock right now as well. It's much like, Pudge clock, right? You can either enable each other really hard or you can get into each other's way, and it's pretty hard to execute correctly.
It is true. It is true. They're gonna go for a hero I was not expecting. This is a position 5 gyro, right? We're not gonna be seeing a mid gyro, are we?
I mean, and surely not. I mean, I've been thinking about it with like how strong Wraith bands are currently. Like you can get to a pretty fast fighting gyrocopter in mid meta for sure. You just buy Falcon Blade, you buy 2 Wraith bands, and you just start flacking people. But with a Naga Siren, that seems pretty dang greedy. So support gyro on the Brood lane. Maxing flak? Question mark?
I don't know. You're maxing your first spell. You're running.
I mean, you should be, right? So, but then why pick a gyro?
To win the first 3-4 levels, huh? That could be a reason. But if we go back a year or two, Yopaj mid lane gyro for Neon now boom. First item blade mail used to be his thing. I imagine that would be fun to see.
And they're banning the Viper. I mean, it is Yopaj though. Like being like, hey, by the way, whatever Yopaj can do, I can do that too. That's a pretty big flex already.
I mean, this is the thing that I've seen in, let's say, Western Europe has very good captains, right? And they have very good team play. Eastern Europe has very good carries because of Ramses, right? Because he was... And Southeast Asia, Abed, Yopaj, and then these up-and-coming mid players who everyone is just so good at because they were looking at these guys like, which lane you want to play? Well, the one that Yopaj plays, the one that Abed plays, and then these new kids on the block, they all know how to play the mid lane properly, and that's what we've been seeing in the scene overall. So, maybe they can play the same thing Yopaj is doing, because to some of them, Yopaj might be the idol. Actually, he's an idol to all of us. Let's scratch that.
He should be. I mean, there is a joke here, like, the joke about, in heaven, the police are German, the cooks are French, and the lovers are Italian or something. Like in Dota heaven, for sure, the carries are CIS, the mid laners are SEA, and the supports are European. Like.
Okay. that is a pretty good one. I have to say that is a pretty.
Then
good one.
In Dota hell, the captains are CIS.
yeah. That is true. They don't have a lot of captains though. We'll see. Big thing we didn't talk about: Seeker versus the Pango. You're still gonna put the Pango in the offlane. I guess this is probably going to be a mid Death Prophet, or do you put the Death Prophet into the offlane? I'm not sure.
Death Prophet versus Bloodseeker is quite decent. The question here is, of course, but like all 3 of these last picks can still go support if you need them to. I just really want to see a core Death Prophet to really hammer home the... you have wave push on the Naga Siren, you have that on the Pangolier, and then you get tower consequences with the Death Prophet to counter out the fact that this Broodmother will get space, she will get towers eventually. You don't want to have to spend too many heroes. So Death Prophet can certainly not go mid anymore.
The gyro cannot be a core anymore because Jaja did pick it up. He was aggressive with the Rubik last time around, so now they're at least if you're gonna be in the enemy's face, let's make a hero that is good at that point. So Boombui will be on the Rubik. It is gonna be a 4 tiny. Whoever is in the mid lane is not going to have a good time. And yeah, they do say it. You're not going to be playing a mid lane DP against an SF, but it is going to be a Pango. So melee hero versus an SF in the mid lane with a tiny roaming around the map. I would not be happy.
No, I mean, I guess Pango is one of the better ones because it's decently easy for you to just burst a wave and, get the hell out of dodge again. But especially the early levels, like if you don't get enough out of those, it's just going to be brutal and the SF is going to farm so much. You can't pressure him whatsoever. And that's exactly how SF loves his lanes.
The question here is, do you send the Rubik to the safe lane with the Seeker, or do you send the Tiny? Do you have any preferences there?
Oh, I mean, you're going to be up versus the Death Prophet. Like either of them have ways to get the Death Prophet back into the. I guess it's more about the support matchup. You're going to be up versus the Hoodwink. I'd say Rubik, honestly, but it's
Yep,
really all about what the players prefer. Like,
that
just
is
Hoodwink
true.
because Rubik because of the trading versus the Hoodwink, like double range lane. There's going to be a lot of harass. You get extra use out of the Fate Bolt.
I personally also
That'd
would
be my
like
guess.
it to be the Rubik, yeah, because Tiny is better at rotating to the mid. You're gonna do it easier from the 4 position. It's just an easier rotation to be made overall. You are going through enemy territory, but you push back the enemy support, and then you have a clear path towards it. But then again, as you mentioned, it is gonna be how the players decide in the end to go for that one. XERXIA, they played amazingly in the past 2 games. Looking at their draft here, do you think they have the edge, or does this again look weird from XERXIA's side? But it's gonna come down to execution.
I think we got another one of those because that is one hell of an SF pick.
Yeah, it
Really,
does look good.
yeah. I mean, maybe they're a little low on the control now over on the side of Vessuwan. Like you can see scenarios where XERXIA gets to pick their fights because they can disengage from with a roll with a Naga song later on. They don't necessarily have to engage and commit into these fights, but on the other hand, especially if this Tiny has a good roaming game, like you're going to see tossbacks, and whoever gets tossed back in is dead as a doornail. XERXIA cannot follow.
We'll see. For now, it seems like LionX will be going into his own lane. Like in the end, the safe lane, they're not going to be changing up with Boombui. But that's just the current positioning. Maybe just wants to be around the mid lane, get some toss back. Doesn't seem like he's going to be getting those ones out this soon. Looking at the wards, one ward placed by the Vessuwan. They still haven't placed the one to the mid lane. Where's their second ward? Did it get dewarded? And I didn't. Yeah, it got dewarded actually. Okay, that's big.
That is pretty huge because we were looking for those tiny rotations. And he does only have the rotation ward now for himself.
So LionX and BB in the river. They're trying to get the rune. Jaja is going to be better on the clicking there. And BB does get stunned up. BB is taking a ton of damage. He does have a fairy fire. Not going to be going down. But now Jaja might be in some trouble. Tiny doesn't have any lockdown spells. He's going to let the gyro go. This hero is naturally very fast. So we'll be completely fine. And we are not going to be getting any kills here at the start of the game.
Yep, and Vessuwan decides to do this differently. The Rubik is going to go bot with the Broodmother. The Tiny is going to be making his way over to top. And he's got that tree grab, as you said, in order to actually slap around Bombi with.
But 4 armor versus 0 armor, you know? Yeah, it is a lot of damage on the Tiny, but you are going to be losing that tree at some point. And we see, okay, Blightstone, he's going to be taking even more damage here. So I wouldn't want to be in the skin of LionX. Good thing he has a Seeker. This is a pretty self-sustaining core.
Exactly, and unlike most of the melee cores versus a Death Prophet, you can actually shove the wave back out with the Blood Rite spam, which is going to go a long way towards ensuring that you don't have to be tanking her right clicks all the time.
So bottom lane, Broodmother versus the Naga. We already agreed that the Naga should do well in this one. Jaja also gets a career of TNT, so that's gonna be pretty big. But 1 raid band already on the Brood, so should be fine. Overall, how much is this gyro gonna do? You know, we are seeing some weird position 5s from Jaja, but I still think gyro is a little bit more common, especially in Southeast Asia than an LC is.
Yeah, you've seen it more often because for me it's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Like I learned how to play Dota with like gyrocopter support as well. LionX knows better than we do.
Yep. Windlace is all he needs and just gets on top of the Hoodwink. Hoodwink might be annoying, might be strong when she is hitting someone, but a very squishy hero. You know, every single Hoodwink player will tell you, it's so cool with this hero that you just eat 1 tango and you're full. Yeah, but that means that they use 1 spell and you're also dead.
Exactly, and it doesn't even change that much throughout the game. Like you remain made of paper.
That is true. At least he's not going to be dealing with a core Tiny, you know, so it's that's a nice bushwhack on top, but Tiny, again, you might not be dealing with a core Tiny, but you are dealing with an annoying Tiny with the avalanche. He stops the engage of XERXIA.
And I'm thinking about this bot lane right now. Like, the Gyrocopter is going to be really cool in trading versus the Rubik because he only takes away right-click damage with the Fate Bolt, which is usually how he wins the trades. And, you know, Gyrocopter trades with Rocket Barrage, which is nice and cool. And it's going to be needed for this Gyro to get actually up into the Rubik's face because otherwise the Rubik is just going to be spamming down Naga's illusions every single time she creates them.
There was a kill on the Tiny on the top lane, though he didn't really have much resources, so maybe it was intentional. TNT is trying to heal himself out with a hunger. He needs to hit a creep, and in the end, he's gonna die there to the Riptide. He wasn't even being attacked. Bumbui, he thought he was saving his body. Actually, he's gonna be left alone here. He doesn't care to chase that one, Karma, because he knows Jaja. He has a barrage of rockets here to strike into Bumbui to get another one, and there it is. Naga Siren versus the Brood. You called it. It is an anomaly for the Naga to lose, and we now see just how much of a difference it can be if you play the lane properly. Karma is crushing it in this one, 19-4, 10-1 on TNT, and also Karma, he gets a kill.
Yep. And this matchup is not really going to change. The Broodmother is just going to have a harder and harder time, and Karma doesn't even have to be in the lane at some point in order to still keep on pushing it out, because that is the fun of being an illusion hero.
Definitely is. Mid lane, we haven't talked about it much. As we are talking about it now, Pango does take a lot of damage from the SF, but overall, he is doing well. You know, melee hero Pango is not a classic one. He can always get the distance away from an SF, which can definitely help you against the Shadow Rages. So JG, so far, so good. He's happy.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with this player throughout the series, and he's just showing it again. This is not the easiest of matchups, but he's been playing it very carefully, very patiently, not overdoing anything, and he's going to hit level 6 pretty much. Actually, he might even be slightly ahead of BB, which gives him a kill opportunity here if the supports can make their way over to mid.
We'll see if that's going to be happening. Meanwhile, Jaja gets another one on Bumbui. Bumbui is going to be dreaming about that rocket barrage. We'll see if he'll be stealing it at some point. Jaja is rotating, and they're looking towards the SF. They might not even need the level 6 on the Pango, and there is the dive. The TP is coming in from the Tiny. They need to protect BB, and are going to be able to do it. Lion X, just with his presence, is going to be scaring off Jaja, but with the boots there, the Gyro is just way too fast. This hero, no chance of the Tiny getting on top of him.
Exactly, and Jaja are demonstrating that just having fast move speed alone is just useful. Like, he could have been any hero there. He just walks past the SF, threatens him, forces out the TP, and now this Tiny can't react for a while. Doesn't even have an extra scroll, so needs to bring a new one in if he wants to.
Good thing Rubik does leave a ward there on the hill to protect the SF as Bombi loses his life on the top lane. Again, very squishy hero. You underestimate the damage of the enemies and you get taken down. Lion X will be the one to claim that one. But again, now BB is being pressured and supports, well, they don't have TPs this time around.
And now Bombi did in fact TP into the mid lane. On this wave, the 6 for JG will come, and all of his supports are already here. BB is going to have to be very careful.
Bushwhack connects on the wrong tree. Just pulls the SF way too far away from XERXIA to react there. So, but still, XERXIA has a 1k gold lead. All three of their cores are topping the network chart. JG is going for a rolling thunder, and BB is gonna be going down. He's actually threatening with the Requiem. He can't use it. Toss back. Oh, that might be good enough to give him a second more to live, I guess. Bombi getting low again. They see him perfectly because of the thirst, bleeding way too much, and he will be smelled out by the Bloodseeker, and the supports will finish him off. Now let's see if these two supports can threaten JG. Doesn't look like it, but at least they can push him away from the tower and save the tier 1 from taking overwhelming damage.
Yeah, that is really the best they can do here. Make sure that this catapult dies, pull the wave off the tower, and SF, if you don't win your lane hard enough, then you're not enough of a damage threat to actually keep people off of you because you are completely defenseless.
Remember the old days. Like SF losing the lane, it doesn't matter. He can go into the jungle. I don't see any stacks for him currently. Tiny tried to make one, isn't going to be doing it that well. It is just not the same hero that it used to be. You kind of need to do well in the lane, which, I mean, BB definitely hasn't done.
Yep, Pango now ahead of him, better at rotating. I don't want to say just as good as flash farming, but certainly just as good as taking waves down. So he'll be spending a lot of time off map on JG. And that is always the threat. And man, now already Rupido is going to be hitting level 6 soon as well. These supports from Vessuwan are getting pulled all over the place. The Tiny is making his way back to top, the Rubik's making his way back to bottom, and they're immediately going to get another call like, help, they're level 6 DP, we gotta go top. How can they keep up?
Where do you go? Where do you go, Kips? Okay, now you have to choose, right? You have to make a decision. Is there anything you prefer?
Yes, I always prefer in scenarios like this trading. Like, okay, Rupido is going to take your top tower. Unless you have a really good plan, you're not going to take him down. So please trade, give your Broodmother space, because you're going to have to bring heroes to the bot side sometime anyway. And she won't have a game until you push through that bottom tower. It's absolutely impossible, and she's not going to be able to manage it on her own unless XERXIA somehow give you that opportunity, which, you know, we've seen them play. They won't.
And XERXIA are coming towards the top lane. They're a little bit faster than UD Vessuwan are, and KMP, he did pick the Seeker versus the Pango, but he doesn't have the Rupture. Swashbuckle misses. Here comes the Rolling Thunder. Linex taking a ton of damage, but JG has something else on his mind. We're gonna be following the Tiny going down, but now moving instantly to the Seeker, who is being ran down. Tries to use the blood right. There is blood on the floor, but now yours is gonna be there as well. So it is gonna be 2 heroes dead. And this tower against the Exorcism, very low chances of it surviving. Immediate TP to the mid lane isn't gonna allow BB to take this one down. And it seems like XERXIA has got everything they wanted.
Yep, well, look at this Naga just holding bot 2 versus 1. She does not care, and now Bombi even comes in. So that is a completely free tower. 2 TPs ready to save the other 2 lanes from the pressure, because nobody on Vessuwan grouped up to actually deal damage in that short window they had. And XERXIA firmly ahead on the map now, as well as in gold.
Oh, they're looking good. They're really looking good. Like, this is... Polaris is a strong team. UD Vessuwan, they're solid, but they're not as strong as Polaris. And now we're seeing XERXIA that they... I mean, the previous series, it wasn't a fluke. These guys, they found their gameplay for sure and are looking crisp. So, now the first smoke from UD Vessuwan. What can they do with this one?
I mean, it's kind of desperate, isn't it? Like, they've realized that we're losing towers. This Brood needs to have space.
Okay,
And
so
just
they
get
are...
repelled.
They use the smoke. They're gonna go and say, let's just lose this faster and go into the next game, because this one is looking out of our reach. This is gonna be JG getting a double. They even used the avalanche onto the ground there. Thought the Naga Siren was waiting for them on the hill. A complete disaster for Vessuwan.
Yeah, you can smell the desperation, right? And they're correct to be desperate. This is a very tough situation, but unfortunately it's a little bit too late.
Yeah, Kips, it's 10 minutes into the game. Is it really all that bad? Jaja in his classic spot next to the enemy tower. Let's go. Give them the kill. It is going to be Linex taking him down with the backhand swipe there from the Tiny. So at least he's up to no good, Jaja, but it doesn't matter. He was already the last on the network chart and is going to be remaining there.
I mean, it's not over. Like, there's a bunch of playmaking potential on these supports, but I gotta say, please give them some lanes then to recover in, because right now, they're Rubik still halfway through level 4. Jaja is halfway to 6.
But they're so greedy, their cores, and BB now has been caught. He does have the ulti, threatening with it, and he releases the souls. Okay, Karma, he wanted to give a kill there. Very nicely done by UD Vessuwan. So they're going to be taking it down. Rupture is going to be used on the Pango, has to TP out, taking some damage because of it, but Rupido comes over. What are you going to do now? You don't have any more of those. Rupido takes some damage. He does have the mech. He needs those Spirit Siphons, not going to be getting him out because he is silenced. And overall, there's 2 big kills for UD Vessuwan, and the Pango gets sent back by the Rupture. So finally we see that UD Vessuwan, they have something to offer, and this space is given now to TNT to take the bottom tower down.
Finally, and let's be very clear, right? XERXIA did this to themselves. Like, this is this is unnecessary. It doesn't have to happen that way. But it is exactly what Vessuwan needed, which is get kills, 2 cores. That was the second exorcism of the game, pretty much completely wasted, and the bottom tower now goes down, finally giving TNT that space that he needs. to be building into the mech. Once he has that, I'm sure they're going to rally together and try and see if they can go for that side sweep on the mid tower. They are back onto their game plan. They are a bit delayed, but at least they know where to go from here, I think.
This is the thing about Dota. You can always make a mistake, and that mistake can be punished in the early game. Because so many plays are being made, there is just a bigger chance that the mistakes will be made. They were, and XERXIA, their lead is gonna be halved. It used to be 4K, now it's 3K. I mean, around 2K, 3K, it's there. So UD Vessuwan slightly back in, but I still feel like these supports, they need a lot. Especially, you know, Blink Dagger on the Tiny. How are you gonna initiate the fight?
Without it, well, I guess maybe Jaja keeps on walking into you.
Yep, that's a good approach, really. UD Vessuwan, they were banging on that one. Bloodseeker on the top lane, caught in a web. Bombi is there to bring him down with the sharpshooter. And XERXIA, this is the thing. I'm looking at their heroes, and wherever the Hoodwink goes, someone can set up. You know, someone can do enough damage so the Hoodwink can bring people down. And that is very scary if you're UD Vessuwan.
Exactly. Hoodwink loves it when she has cores that just play forward, give her vision, give her opportunities to get those counter engages in. And the cores of XERXIA are in the perfect position to do that right now. I'm just imagining that, yeah, Rupido is on this mid tower, 10 seconds to go to Exorcism. We might see a grouping here.
There should be one. Well, let's see if UD Vessuwan feel confident enough to protect that one. TNT does have a path open towards the mid lane if he wants to put down his webs. We'll see if he does. But for now, UD Vessuwan holding their triangle. There is this ward here though from XERXIA that is between the tier 1 and 2. That to me seems dangerous. If XERXIA find an opening on that one, that's a tower.
Yep. And I think Vessuwan have decided that in order to actually enable the Brute to pass through that jungle, they need to take this Diffusal Blade Pango down. Look at the smoke.
Rupture used. Rolling Thunder, TP out. Yep, very nicely done. He's fine. What was stolen? This is going to be a Rolling Thunder stolen, so that is nice. That is a big one. We are going to be seeing a Rubik's Cube going around.
I love that. Can you solve a Rubik's Cube?
I used to know how to do. I think I can. I can definitely go 2 rows. I can definitely get 2 rows, and the X. I don't know if I can finish it, but you know, 1 YouTube video away from being able to do it.
It's muscle memory, man. Like I knew it. I see you. I'm like, this man knows how to solve the cube.
Anyways, though, Brood Mother gonna be caught. The tower almost dead, but the Rubik's Cube might protect him. No, he misses. He doesn't need any protection. Rupido gets blown up. Oh, we didn't expect LionX to find that kind of an opening onto the DP. That's a beautiful toss-in onto the SF, and they also get a tower. UD Vessuwan completely back into the game.
Yeah, and all maybe down to a slowdown there with JG still being on that bot side instead of immediately responding to his Death Prophet, who was clearly positioning, like that was a call, right? The Death Prophet was sitting on the tower, like, hey, 10 seconds to exile. Come over here. JG's like, I gotta get another wave bot. And instead, he gets forced out of bot. SF gets a DD rune. And suddenly, you're left with a very big initiation problem. And the first mid tower that goes down is yours. That's rough for XERXIA.
And also, LionX is approaching the Blink Dagger. This Tiny that has died 3 times now has 5 kills, 4 assists. He's almost done on that one. Usually, we see position 4 Tinies even struggle on getting that one, but LionX, well, not so much. 200 gold away.
Yeah. Is going to have it after this wave over here, unless he gets into an accident. I don't think Bombi is going to be able to do anything against him. Does have the boomerang already, so Bombi is rich as well.
Yep, boomerang, we all know there are some people that can hunt with it. I don't think with a gun I'd be too good, but some people, they catch birds with the boomerang, so props to them. Would be nice to learn. Anyways, though, XERXIA, they're done with giving away fights to the enemy, so they're gonna walk into the Roach with the mid lane tower not being taken down. Maybe it's dangerous, but UD Vessuwan don't seem like they know, or rather don't seem like they care too much at the moment. They have the stolen Rolling Thunder though, so I think they would love to fight this.
They would, but they've given too much information. The Brood is on bot, the SF is on top. Like, unless you immediately TP everybody after seeing that, but XERXIA, I know that this is completely safe to take. And you always have the song.
You really do. Smoke was used by Vessuwan. This time, something that I liked what Spirit does is that sometimes when they don't defend the Roche, they prepare to get something out of it. And Lionx is gonna be a blink reveal. Oh, what's happening? It's a rolling thunder, and JG, he dodges it. He knows how to play around his own spell. Actually, he does not. His is a little, you know, pango rolling. This is a cube that's flying towards you. You know, reminds me of that horror movie, The Cube. Even though in that one you actually enter it, but either way, Boom Boy does get the kill.
Maybe that's where JG is right now, in the cube.
Yeah, true. He's dead, you know, just like the people in the movie, so might be the case. Anyways, though, XERXIA pushing the top lane with the illusions, defending the bottom lane with Rupido. He has to deal with all of these spiders, Death Prophet, you know, that just wants them out of here, and they're not all that valuable.
Not anymore. It used to be times where you could actually farm yourself fat on just fed spiderlings, but those days are long gone.
Yep.
BKB flying in for SF.
That's a big one.
That is a big one. I don't think XERXIA is going to do anything until the Naga Siren Heart, and that means that Lionx will keep on hunting.
This is just looking beautiful, but Bombi, he will finally punish him. It is going to be a stolen Acorn Shot level 1. Boom boy. Yeah, he's not going to be too happy about that one for sure, especially with his 90 damage.
Yeah. It is like, you know, you're reaching into the claw machine. You get the most awful prize out of it. I think he's going to want to put another quarter in.
I like what Bombi is doing. So he got the blink so that he doesn't have to plant the tree every single time when he's jumping in. So that way, he can make sure that he's not giving away the sharpshooter. If you're planting the tree using the bushwhack, then you're always gonna give the sharpshooter away to Rubik. This way, you actually have a different approach.
Very heads up itemization from him. And yeah, Karma is going to actually be trading this top tower. Actually, I'm saying trading, but it doesn't look like Vessuwan feel comfortable staying on this bot side.
Yep, he's just sending in the illusions, and this tower is gone. That's before the heart, actually. Didn't go for the orchid. That's something that we see. So it's gonna be like a 20-minute heart. Can Vessuwan actually deal with this?
And I'm looking at the itemization over on the cores, but like especially this Bloodseeker is so dang poor. If the SF gets blown up for any reason, then Vessuwan just has to bail. Like BB is the only one who can do this.
Yeah, KMP, I'm expecting him to get a BKB and then just go for a shard. I don't see a single other item that will allow him to have any kind of like strength in the fight, or it's just gonna be a thirst so his teammates have the vision. Top lane, Lionx caught, broken. The illusions are doing a ton of damage. He doesn't have the avalanche, not just yet, but the illusions should expire before they kill him. Tower though, gonna be taken down. Bombi, he is gonna be so proud about putting that one down.
All his work, you know?
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. It's always nice when your work pays off. No one ever steals it, right? It doesn't happen in the real world. It doesn't happen in Dota at all.
No, everybody always gets their credit, and you know, whenever somebody is really doing really well for himself, that must be because he did everything right. Oh, look, plays no part.
Of course. And Smoke was used. UD was the one. They are going towards the bottom lane. They have the Requiem. They're going for Karma, who has a song. Let's see. Is he gonna be letting it go? Is he gonna sing? Well, sing for the SF now. He is gonna be quite afraid. He's getting those stage frights, but he might get a chance, and he's gonna be able to do it. That's the heart for you. You can't deal with the real one. We'll see if you can deal with the illusions later on. Here comes the Panko with the DD. Doesn't really do much for him, considering he's inside of the Rolling Thunder from the back. The SF will go for it. BKB TP out. They've only lost the supports, but the BKB from DSF is a big deal. That heart on the Naga Siren Karma, not even close.
No, well, one third health, and he cancels his own song immediately. He's like, okay, they spent everything. We've got all our heroes here. I needed like 1 second to, you know, clear my throat, and now we just wipe you.
Easy. That's a BKB reveal on the SF as well. I feel like BB needed to use that one before the Requiem. Then maybe, with a couple of raises, you kill this guy.
Bombi's just going on KMP.
Yep.
Like surely he can't take him, but he can make him scared for his life.
Pushes him out of the jungle, prevents him from farming, which is something that KMP needs a lot of, considering his current situation of 7.5k net worth.
Nah.
No? Silence on Rupido, and now there's no Requiem. Without that, it's just not that big of a deal. Lionex, you've had your time. You have been annoying, and now you live, it seems like, because it's still gonna be fine. They're protected by the Blood Ride. The silence is gonna be there. Gyro pops the healing salve, not gonna be helping you one bit. One swipe coming out. Rupido goes in. He does have the Spirit Siphons and will survive because of them, but that was close. Death Prophet playing with her life, but she will be fine. It is gonna be a 1-for-1. Only the supports fall.
Vessuwan keeping their eyes on the prize, keeping their eyes on the one hero that they can probably take down here, which is Rupido. I don't actually think you get JG at all because he has that Lincoln Sphere finished now. Rupido, you know, bad target, pipe, Greaves. You're going to have to pump everything you have into him. But you know what? You pumped everything you had into the Naga before and you didn't get her. So, yep, stay realistic.
So what now? How do you deal with the Pango now when he has the Lincoln Sphere? JG got that one, so you have no other BKB piercing disables.
No.
You don't have a Rubik.
Yeah, I'm getting closer and closer to just saying like, yeah, so Rubik is going to steal literally everything.
TNT, Lotus Orb was used there. He returns the rocket, but the hero that it should have gone on is already dead. TNT cannot move an inch. TNT? Yeah, you're not living through that one, no way.
And meanwhile, the Naga is just shoving mid, and I don't think you're actually ready to deal with this Naga at all. Never mind, back by Rupido here.
Lionex goes in and just gets destroyed by the illusions. The real hero doesn't even need to attack him. BB gonna suffer the same fate. There is gonna be a Rupture used on Rupido, who still has the Guardian Greaves, but won't be able to use them there because of the lift of the Rubik coming out just in time. They will force the enemies back here from UD Vessuwan, but it's coming at a price still. The BKB usages of the SF getting lower and lower. I mean, it's not ideal. And talked about saving the tower. You might not even do that.
No, this Naga Siren, you know, you give her a reason to back off, but you don't give her a reason to stay away. Like, there is going to be a butterfly up on her now, and your Bloodseeker is just so damn poor.
Okay, I mean, we can stop making fun of him, you know. Your mama's so poor, you know those jokes from South Park?
Oh, yeah.
My...
Oh, I mean, the thing is that I don't know how else to mention him. Like, you can also prevent if Vessuwan is playing with 4.
Yeah, okay. Their carry is catching up into the game. That's it.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
That's it. And the rest of them are trying to create space, which currently he's using to get minimal amounts of farm and finally, though, finish off his BKB. But he's being hunted by Bombi again. Poor guy. He's out.
Just in time.
Seems like a good time to smoke for UD Vessuwan now. They know where their enemies are. They're dispersed. Lane, solid position. Boom, boy. Okay, going for the sharpshooter. They will break the Pango to get the silence. Lincoln Sphere will help him do absolutely nothing. He's still going to be going down. That's a big kill. And that's a nice kill as well.
One that was very necessary and put reality back into this Pango. He thought he was invulnerable with that Lincoln Sphere. We thought he was pretty invulnerable with the Lincoln Sphere. Turns out you can die to other things in Rupture. Who knew?
Yep. You know, avalanche toss, stolen sharpshooter. Like, how the hell did you allow the Rubik to have that? Not too hard, you know, because it's a channeling spell. But we'll see if Bombi
standing still.
Bombi uses the boomerang. They're only onto the creep, so the spore creep.
Listen, it's hard to hit the spider in the middle of all of that. Okay.
Okay, I agree. Though the boomerang can fly through different targets.
Magic boomerangs do not exist.
Okay, that's fine. I'm imagining it. I haven't seen one for a very long time, though. You know, and I only kind of saw the kids ones, and maybe I saw the Hunter's Boomerang, the real one, the big thing, once in my life, and that was 15 years ago. So I wouldn't know a kid's toy from a real thing, anyways. But 19 to 15, 5K gold lead. XERXIA still ahead. Naga Siren too strong. This is kind of the heart, the butterfly. This is the time where the illusions don't die. So how do you, the Vessuwan, actually destroy them? How do you deal with these? Can you actually deal with these?
I don't think you can deal with these. Like, the only thing that's the problem that XERXIA has now is that Naga doesn't necessarily end the game herself. Oh dear, K and P.
1, 2, 3. He won't even go to see if he has enough damage. He just puts the net on him. Beautifully done there by Bombi. He set it up nicely. Lincoln's was broken by the Rubik there with the spell still. Okay, that's a way to do it. But considering that you do not have the Rupture guy, it really doesn't matter all that much. So XERXIA, they get a bonus kill, and they walk into the Roche pit yet again in this game. It is going to be a Shard Roche. Who takes this one? Is it going to be JG? I guess he's the one who wants it the most.
Yeah, I imagine that we're just going to get the roll up. It's going to feel good to be protected while not actually moving any distance while ruptured. That would be nice.
If he gets ruptured though, that's the other thing, because this Lincoln's is making the life of everyone on UD Vessuwan super hard when it comes to controlling the Pango. And there it is. Aegis is here. Naga Siren thought about the BKB, now wants to go for a Hex, and Tiny, okay, playing with his life and actually will survive. So Lion X will be glad that he's alive for sure, because that was close.
Yep. Now we get into the territory where sure, the Naga does not end games, but she enables anybody else who might wish to end the game, and Rupido has exactly the tool to do that in his pocket with that exorcism.
Lion X went in for the tossback, wasn't quite successful. It was actually catastrophic. Shadow Fiend is going to be protected a little bit, and then the Sharpshooter will not connect. Naga has been afraid, as was everyone else. Look at the Pango and the damage he took from that Sharpshooter from the Rubik. Has to go for the roll-up. BKB from the Bloodseeker just to run away from the illusions, and now Karma just runs in. He doesn't care about anything, and look at you, the Vessuwan. They're just enjoying the songs, but when you get woken up, it is gonna be the reality check being met with you. Karma just destroys the SF, who will be buying back. He wants to have a part of this fight. Naga, as you want to continue fighting this Tiny, will be going down. That's a dieback on him, and Rupido is protecting everyone with the exorcism. No one is going to be going through those ghosts. Everyone is afraid on the side of UD Vessuwan and XERXIA. They lose one. They just lose the one, the squishiest of them all, and it doesn't really matter. They're going to be the ultimate victors of that fight.
Yep, and his Naga is so farmed. She's going to have an Aghanim Scepter next time, and then you can BKB all you want, but there's not going to be any saving you from her murdering you during the song. That's just brutal. And the SF buyback, both BKBs used. Vessuwan lost everything they could have possibly used during that, and the next time this Naga Siren comes, I think it's game over.
We could call it, you know, one word would be a disaster for UD Vessuwan. Is definitely that way. Karma, he has the reel in right now. I feel like that part of when he's pulling someone in is the most useless part of that agonist, but it still feels super cool sometimes.
Enforceable displacement, no matter what shape or form, is always powerful. Always. Positioning is such a strong tool.
Look at it. Does have two ways to remove the net though on TNT, so he's gonna be using one of them, the Lotus Orb in particular, to protect himself this time around. Naga Siren going fishing. I mean, talk about a traitor, right? His own kind.
It's like that frat bro at the party that does, you know, the fish hook move and then the reel in.
Oh yeah. No, this is the girls making the first moves here. So Naga coming forward. Rupido has been ruptured. Rupido has he is gonna be enjoying that everyone else is slept, but still the Rubik will finish him off from the back. He dies to the rupture in the end, and UD Vessuwan, they found a beautiful kill actually. Not something that we would have expected to be their Karma. Avalanche will connect. He just turns around to fight. Yep, sure. Let's go. Let's go. Stolen song. That wasn't something that you wanted to do, but Rubik showing that he can practice his vocal cords as well. KMP goes for a TP out. They have the net. They have the bash. That was never gonna work. Reel him in. Put him in that one. It is gonna be a nice Requiem that is going to protect Yampiku. He's very fast, but is going to be losing his speed fairly soon now because the heroes did drop down. The blood will dry itself on the ground, and UD was one. They only lost one. It's a tiny, but they still can't do anything about the Naga Siren. Look at these illusions. He's untouchable.
Exactly, and they spent everything now. That was all they had. They took down the Death Prophet, but she didn't even use Exorcism, so she's going to be back. She TPs to the outpost. They're going to return. Yeah, look at that ping. Death Prophet going here. On my way. Popping R.
Yeah, I'm coming over,
Steal
guys.
your girlfriend.
I am coming over. They will go for the Brood. Does have the Lotus Orb still. Force Staff will get her out. Brood now slowed down. Returns the Diffusal Blade. A BKB target or a mad target with magic community. Doesn't care about that one. Tiny wanted to get the toss back. He's just gonna be tossing the Pango for just a second, and no one really cares about that one. He will go for the roll up, dodges the Blood Right, and it seems like the lane of Rax here will finally get threatened. Meanwhile, BB caught on the other part of the map. The supports are killing him. I'm a bit later. I should be stronger than this. Why is he even here? His base is in shambles. It needs protection. But he got out of the base and was met with two supports that he thought were weak, but they were more than strong enough to bring him down.
Oh, it's painful. I mean, I know exactly why he is there, right? Because he doesn't think that the supports can get him. He knows that he can't do anything versus the Naga Siren. Best thing he can possibly do is get some waves out. And instead he gets punished.
And that's a hero without a buyback. And this is what happens when a Naga Siren gets pushing. You know, you mentioned the hero doesn't really push all that great because the illusions will get taken down. But when there's no one to take the illusions down, when there's so many of them, especially with the level 20 talent, it just looks easy.
It does. At this point, you just sort of A-click the enemy base.
Rolling Thunder, Lincolns, Boomboy not breaking that one. He does have the Bushwhack, so wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to lose your spell still there in a fight. You have a solid spell. Going for the Naga. Karma is taking some damage, but his heart is too big. Just kidding. He looks pretty heartless. He's destroying the enemy's home, and there is nothing they can do about it. And he's singing while doing it. TNT will pop the Lotus Orb. The Spirit Siphon will get returned. Bushwhack doesn't connect. Bombi a little bit off the mark, but who cares? This game, it's looking very over. UD Vessuwan, they're not calling it just yet, but they could.
Reel in, BKB forced. And the Naga Siren. Meh.
Oh no, I got ruptured. What am I to do now? Oh yeah, I have a billion illusions that are still gonna be doing my bidding. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu for all of the weebs there in the chat. And Karma dropping down the items. Oh, the ultimate BM here. Oh, I can beat you without items. You are not worth it, but my illusions, they will have them. Lanex is running away. JJ jumps in. He's gonna get the bash in Campy. Poor guy is gonna be absolutely destroyed. And the rest of them caught in the backlines by Bombi. Can you at least kill the squirrel? Yes, you can. Spiders, we all know they can feed on those. And Rubik does live. On the other side, Broodmother hiding in the trees for how long, and now he's gonna get squished, squashed, and slashed down. The GG does get called. TNT is actually living through this one, but not for long. It is gonna be a dead spider as well, and the game ends with XERXIA overwhelming victory. Like, maybe there was 5 minutes where UD was the one were looking good. Other than that, it was all XERXIA.
Yeah, completely agreed. And the fact that this SF just did not get enough leverage on the game, the fact that the Broodmother had to work so hard to get that first tower down, it was all just space for this Naga Siren, who had a phenomenal core-to-core matchup against everybody in this game. And yeah, I guess the less we say about the Bloodseeker pick, the better, because that one needs to go into the bin. Vessuwan needs to try something way, way different for their safe lane the next time around.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand it. You picked it for the Pango, but one Lincoln's and it's just gone. I mean, XERXIA, they played so well in that super early stages of the game that even those couple of mistakes, they didn't really make a difference, Kips, did they?
No, absolutely not. And yeah, like in the end, the Naga Siren matchup, you have to beat it on speed. You have to take more buildings than you did. And the fact that that Spider only gets a reinforcement so late into the game is just a miscall from UD Vessuwan. And I understand that it doesn't feel comfortable to engage into XERXIA when they have more team fight than you do. When they're going to be punishing you by pushing on other sides of the map, when it feels like you're giving the Naga Siren undisturbed space, but you need that space first as well, and Vessuwan just didn't create any for themselves.
That is definitely true, but this means that XERXIA are today 3-0 in games, and they might be 2-0 in series if they win the next game against UD Vessuwan, though. Only one way to find out, but first we have to go on to a short break, so stay with us.